Hi, everyone. It's Nina again, and welcome to the last lesson. There is one more video after this to wrap things up so that you can leave with things on a very positive note so that you know what to do to make yourself live the happiest, healthiest, most vibrant life ever. So I'm going to talk to you about the 6 pillars of health, because I think that it's very important to realize and understand that our health is very multifaceted. And especially when oxidative stress starts to play a role and you get into metabolic chaos, it's very difficult to figure out what to do first. And oftentimes you need to do a multi-pronged, multifaceted approach to your healing. Because in the beginning, when things weren't as bad, whenever you started to develop problems, symptoms, whatever, it might have been easier to figure out one thing to do, whether it was increase your exercise, change your diet, get out of a bad relationship if that was causing you a lot of emotional and psychological stress. So it's not as simple once you get farther on down the path. So you really have to address the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the social, and the financial pillars of health, because that is so very important in order to take ownership of your health. The physical pillar of health is obviously your physical body. It deals with the water that you take in, the nutrition that you take in, the activity that you do, and the air that you breathe, and then the rest and the recreation that you get, how you are caring for your body. The mental is how you're caring for your mind. Are you challenging your mind? Are you letting your mind stagnate? Or are you faced with a lot of mental challenges, a lot of problems in your life that you need to address? And maybe you need to look at how you can minimize and reduce those. The emotional, how are you handling things? How are you dealing with the stressors in your life, whether they're physical stressors, mental stressors, social stressors, spiritual, financial stressors? What emotions are coming up? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Do you feel joy and happiness most of the time, which is what I wish for each and every one of you? So your emotional pillar of health is extremely important also. The spiritual pillar of health deals with how you relate to the world and how you see the world, how you understand why things happen. So that's a very important pillar of health also, because if you're seeing the world as very negative and you're seeing yourself as not having any control in your life, then that's going to be affecting your overall health. Those people who have an internal locus of control, who feel that their decisions matter, and their decisions are usually based on their life view of the world. And so when people have an internal locus of control, they generally have better outcomes than people who have that external locus of control, thinking that everything else affects them. So that's another important one. And it's important to understand that trauma, psychological trauma, can affect all of these pillars of health, specifically the mental, emotional, spiritual, and social. So if you're having trauma, it's really important to address that trauma. And that's what I do in my coaching also, is because trauma is very pervasive in our society, and we are exposed to this unrelenting stress, and we're not programmed to deal with it the way we're programmed to deal with a physical threat. So it's important that we actually address it, get to the underlying cause, and eliminate that and deal with it so that we can move on with our lives, both mentally, emotionally, and physically, because it does affect us on a physical level. Even if it's an emotional or psychological stressor, it will affect us on a physical level. People who have unresolved trauma have up to a 400% increase in the incidence of depression and anxiety, and they have up to a 20-year reduction in lifespan. Now that's profound. And I have seen that. I've seen people in the hospital dying in their 50s, and they had horribly abusive relationships or some other type of trauma that they were unable to deal with and resolve. So trauma is important. I'm actually taking a trauma course right now and incorporating all of that into my coaching. So addressing these is very important. The social pillar of health, obviously, are your relationships. Are your relationships healthy? Are your relationships strong? Do you have enough support networks in your life? Because we're going to have various support networks for various things. We might have the group of friends that we can go out with and just forget about our troubles. We might need that one or two good friends that we can call up no matter what time of day it is and no matter what's going on, who will listen to us and care for us and be compassionate with us. And so there's different group types of support and different groups of friends that we need and different types of relationships that we need. And we also need to contribute to relationships and to social settings, because that gives us that sense of value also. And then that last pillar of health is financial. If you do not have healthy finances, then it's very difficult to make the decisions that you need to make to create the health in your life, the level of health in your life that is optimal and desirable. So that's important to understand that. And in my coaching, I don't talk about, I'm not a financial coach, but I do deal with a lot of financial issues with giving you tools, giving you different thoughts, exposing you to different professionals, as well as talking about your relationship with money, your mindset around money, how money makes you feel emotionally and energetically, because money is much more powerful than we think. And we don't need to let money have that kind of power in our lives. Money is a tool. That's all it is. It's neither positive nor negative. It's a tool that we have to obtain the things that we need. And so we oftentimes attach different meanings to it, different feelings to it. And when we're without it, we can't do the things that we need to do. So finances are an important part of health, because without good finances, we have a lot of additional stress, and we can't make the decisions that we need to make that are good for us in the long run. And then we're always going to be beholden to whatever insurance will or won't pay. And we should be able to make those choices ourselves, not the insurance company. So that's really important in your overall health. So I want you guys to sit down with the conclusion video and find out what your next steps can be so that you can live a healthier, happier, and more vibrant life, because you need to take this knowledge. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is useless unless you put it into effect. And then knowledge can be a superpower once you start to implement it. So I'll talk to you about implementing the things that we learned and some things that you can think about, some easy things that you can do to create some change in your life and to improve your health. And then if that doesn't work, I also have something else for you. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video.